at the finest level, if we're talking isolated joint mobility or muscle flexibility, we essentially, we look at the body, the brain as a survival machine first, a performance machine second, or maybe not at all, right? And a big part of survival is anticipation, right? So fear of re-injury is a strong hardwiring. Also, energy conservation.
Right.
It's a strong hardwiring. So the longer one goes, not asking a part of your body to do something, the more your brain will say, okay,
We don't need that anymore.
we don't
right?
need that, so let's take that option away, save us some energy and some options for failure, and make things more efficient,
Interesting.
right? But efficiency from that perspective usually is not consistent with what you or I or somebody we might work with would define as an efficient or
Right,
ideal solution.
right.
So when you do a joint mobilization, you could define it as a stretch at a micro level. It's basically enough signaling to get your brain to realize that still needs to move, don't turn it into a rock. Or you can think about big muscles being stretched. But all that to say, you want to maintain the options that you want to have for whatever it is that matters to you in life. And so
Right.
the further down the line we get, we know the body tends to get less forgiving in pretty much every way. And you are more likely to be reduced to, a reflection of what you do or don't do at an exponential rate as time goes on, because your brain really wants you to survive and it really wants to spend as little energy as possible to do
Doing
it.
Right. Yeah, because it seems like one of the things I've heard before is life is movement. And, whether it comes from our ancestors of being chased by a saber-toothed tiger or whatever, but if you keep moving your body, you'll be alive. It seems like death is the ultimate stopping of movement, but the longer you can keep mobile, the longer you have flexibility, the longer you stay uninjured is a direct reflection of how long you'll live. What do you think about that?
I mean, I don't know how that shakes out in the absolute, but in terms of the experience of being alive versus the experience of just not being dead, I think there's no question about that, right? And some of the folks that I've had the opportunity to work with and train under who are, deep experts in functional neurology and the clinical side of things, in a manner that I don't work with, they've given me some very long-winded explanations on how the absence of movement and what it doesn't do in your brain and how that ceases to create activation in areas that impact critical thinking or
Right.
decision-making, emotional control. I mean, it's easy to say, oh, it's all connected, because we can see that it's all connected, but the depths in which that are true are still being discovered and understood. And like most folks are familiar with, Sudoku or like crossword puzzles, and you see it being recommended to a lot of aging folks, like, oh, do this every day, it'll help your brain.
Right.
That may or may not be correct, but one thing that has been pretty much proven beyond a shadow of a doubt at this point is that exercise, movement, does what that attempts to do, but it does it infinitely better, right?
Right.
So life is movement, because movement perpetuates all manner of brain function.
Right.
And so it really doesn't matter if you don't like to move or don't care about your ability to very much. If you like to have your brain and to, experience life in whatever way matters to you, you probably need to at least have a minimum proficiency in the ability to move, because everything else is going to go away in the absence.